So we have round two, game one, Miami and New York. This one should be a defensive battle. And then the game that I'm the most excited for, obviously, game seven, round one, Golden State and Sacramento. Early basketball games on Sunday, noon and 2:30. So remember, early start tomorrow. Welcome, guys. My name is DK. We'll be breaking down the two-game DFS slate in this video. I also make content for Prize Picks. If you guys are not familiar with Prize Picks, they are the sponsor of the video. It is a player prop site. They have basically every single sport you can think of. You can mix and match sports. How it works is you build out slips with player props, like 2 players, 3 players, 4 players, 5 players, 6 players. If you go 6 players and hit all 6, you can win up to 25x your money. You can kind of mess with a lot of different payout structures with the amount of slips that you're doing. But if you're interested, you can give it a try. Use the code DKDFS for 100% match up to $100. I'll have it linked down below. I'll try to get a video up for Prize Picks as well after this. But yeah, and then quickly recapping tonight. So I'm honestly shocked that this lineup is currently cashing right now. So I could have had Bruce Brown over Biyombo, but I decided to leave a bit of salary on the table. I think I could have had, I could have upgraded someone there, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to play for 8 in foul trouble and just roll the dice and unown Biyombo. Well, clearly that did not work because Biyombo has, negative 0.5.5. He like botched a wide open dunk too. I was like, all right, well, I would be shocked if this lineup still cashes. But I was the players I was building around was Jamal Murray, Jokic, and KD. So that obviously worked out. So we'll see. I mean, maybe if Aiden does pick up 2 quick ones in the second half, that we could get some extended Biyombo run. But yeah, that's a recap there of the showdown. And all right, let's get into it. So like I said, 2 very different type of games here. You got Miami, New York, 207.5 over under, and Golden State, Sacramento, 229 over under. So we'll start on the Miami side. And this Miami rotation has been really interesting of late. We've seen extended minutes for Vincent, extended minutes for Love. I think it can kind of fluctuate with the group of like Love and Vincent and Strus and Martin and Lowry and Duncan Robinson. So basically outside of Jimmy and Bam, I'm not super confident in anyone's minutes. So it'll be interesting to see what the ownership comes in on these Miami guys. Like, for example, is everyone just going to slam Gabe Vincent because he played 41 minutes last game and no one's going to play Kyle Lowry? But we've also seen some pretty big Kyle Lowry games. You saw the one huge game from him. So like that would be one where like, all right, if like Vincent's like 5x the ownership of Lowry, like maybe I roll the dice on Lowry, or like, so a lot of it for me, it's going to come down to ownership with these secondary players for Miami. So I think the minutes could really fluctuate here. But the top 2 guys, Jimmy and Bam, I mean, just an insane run for Jimmy Butler. I am shocked still that Miami won that series. Absolutely shocked. He's been playing out of his mind. I'm also really curious what his ownership is going to be. Almost 10K. It's an awful matchup, but I mean, he has been playing so incredibly well that he is firmly in play at the top there. Bam on a buyout, 7-4. If he stays out of foul trouble, I think he's going to play high 30s minutes. I actually think it's easier to get to Bam than it is Jimmy, but clearly the ceiling is higher on Jimmy. Now, this is where it gets tricky for me with these secondary players. But Kevin Love, he's complete dust on the defensive end, but he's a good point per minute guy, and he surprisingly played 32 minutes last game. So if you told me for sure that Kevin Love was going to play 30 minutes again, I'm locking and loading him in every lineup. I'm just jamming Kevin Love. We've also seen him get played off the court multiple games in the playoffs where they really limit his minutes. So, like, I really don't know what to do with Kevin Love here. It'll be interesting to see what his ownership is. If he's going to be relatively low-owned, I'm more inclined to play him. If he's going to be very popular and the field's going to be super confident in his minutes, then I'm more willing to fade. But it's going to be the story with a lot of these Miami guys. Like Gabe Vincent. Like, yeah, I am more confident in his minutes right now than Kyle Lowry, but we've seen Gabe Vincent play 18 minutes so far in that game last series. So I think he's probably the value play, feel the best spot for Miami. He does have the nice eligibility as well. I do think he'll go a little bit over-owned, though. But, yeah, I think Vincent is the guy I feel the best about. Of course, Max Strus, I play him at low ownership, -1. Next game, 38 minutes, 23 fantasy points. It's just like there's no one that runs worse. Everyone that watches his videos now knows that. No one runs worse than me. But, yeah, with Max Strus, again, his minutes can clearly fluctuate. I think most of the time he's going to play over 30 minutes, but if he's struggling, they will bench him. If he's making his shots, though, this guy does have a ceiling. So he intrigues me for GPPs. Martin, again, I was a little bit surprised he only played 21 minutes last game, but we've also seen games where Caleb Martin's played, 30-ish minutes. So I think he's an interesting, contrarian value play. Lowry, I think will be a lot lower owned than Vincent. I think he's a fine pivot off Vincent. Again, I'm more confident in the minutes for Vincent, but that doesn't mean that Lowry can't outscore Gabe Vincent. So I think he'll be relatively low owned. I like him for tournaments. Duncan Robinson, not completely out of play. We've seen some games when Duncan's played 25 to 30 minutes. If Strus is struggling, they can go to Duncan Robinson. So Miami is really a lot of these guys. What I'm going to do with these secondary plays is going to come down to ownership. My guess right now, what's going to happen with ownership is you're going to see massive chalk to Love and massive chalk to Gabe Vincent, and low ownership to guys like Martin, Lowry, Robinson, probably relatively low ownership to Strus. And again, I'm more inclined to play chalk Gabe Vincent than chalk Kevin Love. If Kevin Love is chalk tomorrow, I think I'll just fade, because even though he's a good point per minute guy, I really have no confidence in the minutes. I think they can go a lot of, like, if Julius Randle is out there, like, Julius Randle will cook Kevin Love. So that's my take on Miami. If he has some foul trouble, maybe see a little bit of like Cody Zeller, but nothing that I'm really confident in. For the Knicks, we'll get two question marks here. We're just going to really determine what I want to do with the Knicks. Grimes and Randle. If they are both out, well, number one, if Grimes is out, it's Barrett and Hart that benefit. Those guys should see really solidified minutes. And then if Randall's out, you should get more usage for Brunson. Mitchell Robinson looks better with Randall off the court. And then Obi Toppin most likely would start and would be a solid value. So really, we will get this before lock, right, with both Randall and Grimes. So that is super, super important. Brunson, either way, I think is a solid play. But if there's no Randall, I like him a little bit more. I expect close to 40 minutes for Brunson. Randall, if he does play, I feel like it's a little bit too cheap. It's obviously not the best matchup, but sub 7K Randall does look appealing. Barrett and Hart, if Randall and Grimes are both in, they're more secondary plays to me. If they're both out, I really like both. I mean, you saw 47 minutes for Josh Hart last game. So those two would really benefit if Grimes is out, and would look a little bit better too if Julius Randle's out, more usage. Robinson had a massive game last game, an absolutely massive game, 36 minutes as well. If there's no Randall, he does look better. Now, I think last game was clearly an outlier performance, and we also have seen games in the playoffs where the Knicks have closed with Hartenstein. We've seen a couple games where the Knicks went to Hartenstein over Robinson. So while I think Robinson's minutes are more secure and has the higher ceiling, I think Hartenstein is still an interesting pivot off of him at probably really low ownership. Obi Toppin, I would only play him if he starts if Randall's out. If Randall's in, I'm not going 4-5 Toppin. Quickly at 4-3, depends on the injury news. If both Randall and Grimes are in, I probably can't do Quickly, and that's it for the Knicks. All right, Golden State and Sacramento. So for Golden State, I don't really expect much to change here. Maybe you see slightly reduced minutes for Poole. Maybe you do see Draymond in the starting lineup, but yeah, top end guys. I mean, Steph Curry, I expect him to play huge minutes here. Probably 40 plus would be my guess. Game 7, I just think everyone gets extended a bit more. So Steph looks great at the top. I think Wiggins looks like a very safe play. The guy that can stuff the stat sheet should play close to 40 minutes. Klay Thompson didn't have the best game last game. It's funny. Everyone went to Klay Thompson because of Game 6 Klay narrative. Like, you should never put any emphasis into narratives. Never. Like, that doesn't, like, people ask me about, oh, what do you think about Game 6 Klay? I was like, it doesn't affect me at all. Like, I'm not going to change for what I want to do with Klay Thompson because of the Game 6 Klay. So a lot of people that I saw so much on gambling Twitter, Game 6 Klay, we're taking his overs. It's like, that's a fish move. If that is the reason you're taking his overs, you're a fish. But yeah, Klay Thompson, reasonable. I mean, he has a little bit lower floor than a guy like Wiggins, but if he's knocking out of shots, does have a ceiling. I think he'll be relatively low owned. Draymond Green, I like him better if he starts. He's a guy that can stuff a stat sheet. And the only issue with him is he is foul prone, but still a pretty solid play. Looney saw slightly reduced minutes last game, but that was because Sabonis got in massive foul trouble and they were playing from behind. If this game is close and Sabonis is out there, you should see Looney playing 30-plus minutes. However, the price point did jump to 6.5, where he's no longer like a smash play, but I still think he's solid. Poole, I think the only way I would play him is if he starts, and I'm not sure if he starts after that performance. They might go back to Draymond. So if Poole comes off the bench, it's really just a contrarian play. And then you have this group of like DiVincenzo, Peyton, Moody. I think we'll see minutes. DiVincenzo probably gets the most ownership, but Peyton and Moody are reasonable large field tournament plays. And finally, the Sacramento Kings. So this is where we have the most to talk about, and it is so typical, right? If we've never ever seen of the wings, we've never seen it be Harrison Barnes that gets benched, right? I finally play Harrison Barnes the first time all year, and what do you know? He's the one that gets benched. It's unbelievable. It's really, truly unbelievable. You could write a novel about it. How bad I run. It's incredible how bad I run. Also, Keegan Murray was way overowned last slate. Plays 45 minutes. It's just you actually just have to laugh at those things, right? Otherwise, it's going to drive you insane. But the Kings switched up the rotation the most. Again, number one, you saw Murray play almost the entire game. You saw Monk play a bit more. And you saw Trey Lyles play the backup 5, no Alex Len, and you saw Terrence Davis enter the rotation. There's a lot that changed for the Kings, and I think since it worked, they're going to go right back to that. So that being said, top-end guys, once again, I'm extremely high on Fox. I would say he's probably my favorite of the spend-ups on the slate. I really like him. My boy Sabonis has struggled. It is what it is. He has not looked good in the series. Draymond and Looney have been really playing him well defensively. Right now, he's more of your contrarian play. I like him as a low-owned play, but if you're going to make me pick between Fox and Sabonis, I'm going to go Fox every day of the week right now. I'm really high on Malik Monk, too. I think he's going to be a popular play, especially after what you saw last game, but he's basically the secondary playmaker right now behind here in Fox. Sorry. That came out of nowhere. Yeah, I think Monk will be very popular. I like him. Probably will be a bit overowned. Now, Keegan Murray has played really well. 45 minutes is just out of this world. 45 minutes for Keegan Murray. It looks like his minutes are a bit more secure, but I just will mention it. The first 2 games of the series, he played 16 minutes. Just going to mention it. I'm not saying that's likely, but especially after you saw 45 minutes from him. But if he really, really struggles, the Kings will go the hot hand. You saw it. Barnes has never gotten benched. The first time I ever play Harrison Barnes, and he's the one that gets benched. It's just absolutely insane. Kevin Huerter couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, and they went back to him. I was just like, are you serious right now? So yeah, the group of Murray, Huerter, Barnes, all in play. I think Murray will by far be the most popular play, especially after last game, but I still think the Kings will ride the hot hand with those wings. Davion Mitchell saw his minutes went way down, only played 11 minutes last game. They went to Terrence Davis. And Terrence Davis is actually a good point per minute guy and was kind of pesky defensively. He's got the nice eligibility. I still think there's I'm pretty sure he's going to play. I would say there's a small chance he DNPs, but I'm pretty sure, especially at the one last game, he will be in the rotation. And if you told me for sure that Terrence Davis plays 19 minutes again, I'm locking and loading Terrence Davis. So he's a really interesting value play to me, as is Trey Lyles, who got the backup 5 run. When he plays the 5 as opposed to the 4, just a pretty significant boost. I would be shocked if you see Alex Len play tomorrow. So I like Lyles. You did see 27 minutes last game, which is not going to happen because Sabonis got in massive foul trouble. But I still think Lyles probably plays, 15-ish minutes. He could play a little bit alongside Sabonis. They have done that. So Lyles also interesting for value. So I would say, to be honest, probably the Kings are my favorite team to target on this 2-game slate. I do think they'll probably get the most ownership, though. Okay, so that's going to do it for the 2-game slate. I'm going to go watch the second half of the Suns-Nuggets game. As always, if you guys do enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep an eye out the Prize Picks video. I'll have up in a couple hours. And yeah, remember, early games tomorrow. So good luck, and we'll see you all in the next video.